What's going on, baseball fans? Jeremy Laracuente here for the Baseball Banter Broadcast. And on this broadcast, we're going to start looking at our top 10 right now at each position. If you follow MLB Network, you know that every year they go through this list, they go through this exercise of crafting the top 10 players at each position. Now, it seems that this year they're going to be beginning with relief pitchers, so that's where we're starting. Now, we have corresponding articles that will be coinciding with all of these positions on laracuenteledger.com. I will leave links to those articles down in the show notes below of this video. Now, we're going to begin with relievers. Now, before I get into my list, I encourage you to go through this exercise. It is a very telling exercise. You start to see how some of your bias play out in terms of certain statistics, certain players, certain teams. So you start to kind of build out a list of players that you're kind of prone to just accepting as, you know, one of the best players in the league. But then when you start doing the research, that list can kind of change a little bit. So I always encourage everyone throughout the course of the articles, as well as these videos that I've put together the last couple of seasons, that when you go through this list of your top 10 right now, definitely an interesting and fun exercise. Now, stay tuned until the end because there's going to be some big news as we're getting close to 500 subscribers here on this YouTube channel, and we're going to go ahead and do a giveaway. So stay tuned to the end to find out all the details about that. But we begin with number 10 on the top 10 relievers right now. Casey Sadler of the Seattle Mariners. When you look at what Sadler was able to do over the course of his 42 innings of work, this was a pitcher that, in my opinion, is going to be very underrated, a pitcher that maybe the casual baseball fan does not know about. But I think that looking at what he was able to do in 2022 and kind of projecting forward in 2023, I think that this is going to be one of the better relievers in Major League Baseball. So obviously, as a reliever, you're going to most likely be coming in some high pressure situations, and being able to limit damage was something that Casey Sadler did well. Number 9 on my list is Johan Duran of the Minnesota Twins. This was one of the players that had one of the most blistering fastballs in a Major League Baseball in 2022. Another upstart type reliever here who pitched to a 1.86 ERA, a 2.52 FIP, and an ERA plus, according to baseballreference.com, of 208, 100 being league average. This is the type of arm that is expected to be coming out of the bullpen of the future. This is a powerhouse fastball that really overpowers and dominates batters in that batter's box. It's going to be interesting to see how some of these hard-throwing relievers fare with the new pitch clock that will be implemented, but I think that this fastball really sticks out and plays up compared to what we've seen from some of the others around the league. Now, as we look at the number 8 reliever on my list, another breakout competitor, another breakout reliever in Ryan Housley of the St. Louis Cardinals. Housley would have 64 2/3 innings pitched with 94 strikeouts, an ERA of 1.25, a FIP of 2.34, and an ERA plus of 3.06. Again, league average being 100. So super crazy big numbers right here for Ryan Housley. I think that obviously there's going to be a little bit of regression there. There's no way that he can spend his entire career pitching 300% over a league average player. So this is a type of arm right now that you really expect a lot out of if you're a fan of the St. Louis Cardinals. If you're from that front office, just the debut that he had in 2022, you're looking for a similar output in 2023. And there's very little question that this type of power coming out of this arm is definitely going to be something that has to be watched for the next coming seasons, and especially in 2023. And number 7 on my list is Clay Holmes of the New York Yankees. This is a ground ball specialist. This was a magical season to begin the year for Clay Holmes, and a little bit of a struggle in the second half. He did start to kind of get himself back into that first half form in the postseason, so it really bodes well for him going into 2023. Now, Holmes would produce a ground ball percentage over 75%, number one in the league in that regard. No matter what innings limit restrictions that you put on, this was the number one ground ball pitcher in terms of percentages. So for the Yankees, having him in the back end of that bullpen, kind of locking things down, has really turned out to be a very good sign for the Bronx Bombers. So I think that for Clay Holmes, 2023 is going to be a year of really defining himself as one of the very best relievers in all of Major League Baseball. Now, number 6 on my list is Liam Hendricks. Now, we know that we just heard the news about Hendricks yesterday, and this is going to be an arm that we may not see at all in 2023. But prior to when this list was getting put together, this is without question one of the best relievers in baseball. Relievers are by nature a volatile situation, a volatile position to try to determine and predict, because we see so many relievers in years that are absolutely dominant, absolutely brilliant, and then the next year they're falling off a cliff. Hendricks has been one of the most consistent arms in terms of relief pitchers. When you look at what his antics and things on the mound, this is one of the most entertaining pitchers to watch as well when he takes the field. So all the best wishes to him, that he recovers quickly and we can see his dynamic talent back on a major league mound once again. Now, number 5 on my list is Andres Munoz of the Seattle Mariners. The Mariners are putting together a very good bullpen quietly, in my opinion. When you look at the 65 innings that Munoz pitched in 2022, to the tune of a 2.49 ERA, a 2.04 FIP, and an ERA plus of 149 with 96 strikeouts in just those 65 innings. This is an arm that is continuing to mature, continuing to learn his craft and get better and better each and every year. And I think that 2023 is going to follow up that 2022 campaign in a very big way. Now, number 4 on my list is Devin Williams of the Milwaukee Brewers. When the Brewers traded away Josh Hader, there was a lot of confusion, a lot of uproar in the baseball community, in the baseball landscape, as to how you could trade away one of the best relievers in baseball. Now, Hader wasn't having the best time at that point, but you know who was? Devin Williams. Williams would slide into that closer role for the Milwaukee Brewers and absolutely run away with it. This was a dominant arm in 60 2/3 innings pitched, 96 strikeouts, an ERA of 1.93, a FIP of 2.01, and an ERA plus of 2.05. When you look at what Devin Williams was for the Milwaukee Brewers, what he's going to be in the future, this is a dominant force at the back end of games. When you put the ball in his hand, especially with that absolutely monstrous, devastating changeup that he has, there's no doubt about it that the game feels like it is over. Devin Williams is still coming into his own, still a young pitcher, but with the stuff that he has paired with the way that he pitches, the way he goes about it, this is a top 5 reliever right now in Major League Baseball. Now, as we look at the number 3 top 10 relief pitchers right now, Ryan Presley of the Houston Astros. This has been one of the guys that has been one of the most consistent, underrated arms for a very long time, in my opinion. I think that he's really starting to blossom in a big way ever since he made the move and was traded over to the Houston Astros. They have unlocked his potential, his output, and it is without question really benefiting this player right now. I think that for Ryan Presley, the way we would see him kind of go out and attack during the World Series really was just a small sample of what this pitcher is capable of doing. Now, number 2 on my list is one of the most entertaining entrances for a relief ace, a relief pitcher in Major League Baseball. Yes, we are speaking about the trumpet man himself, Edwin Diaz. I think when you look at Diaz, the combination that he has with the fastball slider is absolutely devastating. This is an arm and a player that you just don't really know exactly what you're going to be facing as a hitter when you step in that box. Without question, one of the biggest reasons for the Mets' push towards the postseason has been Edwin Diaz. I think that going into 2023, we would see him now sign a monstrously huge contract with the New York Mets to go back to the Mets. And for me, this is going to be a very, very big season for Edwin Diaz in Queens. And that leaves us with the number one relief pitcher in the game today. And for me, it's Emmanuel Clase of the Cleveland Guardians. When you look at the dominance that this player has had, he almost goes underrated because he is pitching for the Guardians. I think that there's very little question. His ERA of 1.29 and 1.36 over the past 2 seasons, going together with FIPS of 2.11 and 1.98. 151 strikeouts in 141 innings over the past 2 seasons is a ton of workload. But when you look at what his ERA plus has been, 333 in 2021 and 281 in 2022 respectively, this is a dominant force, and 2023 looks to be more of the same for Emmanuel Clase. But I want to hear from you guys. Let me know down in the comment section below, who are your top 10 relief pitchers right now. Now, MLB Network will have their list up. Brian Kenny is usually joined by a former Major League player on the panel, as well as a sabermetric panel that they go through. But ultimately, their algorithmic program called the Shredder is the one that makes the ultimate grading. So make sure you put your list together before the show. I believe it is going to be airing Tuesday night on MLB Network. So keep it locked in. We're definitely going to be interested to see how that goes. Now, as I said in the beginning and alluded to, we are going to be doing a special giveaway once we get to 500 subscribers. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be giving away a Baseball Banter Broadcast thermos. This is up on our merchandise shop. So if you do want to just purchase one, and it is available there, but we're going to be doing a giveaway. And once we get to 500 subscribers, there's going to be a few little stipulations as to how you can qualify, how you can get extra entries into the giveaway lottery that we're going to be running here for it. And first and foremost, you have to be a subscriber here on the Baseball Banter Broadcast YouTube channel. If you follow us over on Twitter at banter_baseball, as well as our TikTok channel, Baseball Banter Broadcast, and our Instagram page, Baseball Banter Broadcast, you're going to get extra entries for each one of those things. So definitely want to thank you guys for tuning in. We're continuing to try to grow this channel and this community here, this baseball family here on the Baseball Banter Broadcast. So if you haven't already done so, smash that subscribe button as we continue to try to grow. Again, that's your best way to try to get the Baseball Banter Broadcast thermos, is by being a subscriber here on YouTube. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Keep it locked in as we continue to look at the latest news, notes, and my personal thoughts, theories, and opinions on the game of Major League Baseball. Peace.